What's going on, YouTube fam? We got another one for you today. It's one of the Patreon joints from the JBP. They titled it the Stud Finder. Um, we'll get into it. But here we go with our church takes. We're gonna take it from the top. So pretty much, I'm not mad at the singing intro that they came into the pod with. It was pretty cool. I forget the song that they were singing, but they were singing some type of song, so that was pretty cool. Of course, Flip, he's gonna pull up with his random questions. And then, of course, he's gonna bring up the swimming pool. The swimming pool is a topic, and it's been pretty funny lately. Flip, he was trying to reprimand Mel like she was his daughter for a quick second. Like, tell me now, or it's gonna get worse a little bit later on. So I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, Mel being in the workplace swimming pool is hilarious. Um, yeah, that was just too funny. Flip being an instigator, I mean, he always says it. He's an instigator, so I mean, he's doing his job. Like I said, man, I love Flip. He's super consistent, so you can't go wrong when somebody's being consistent. You know what I'm saying? And entertaining, most importantly. Next take is basically Mel. I mean, Mel doing the walk around the table. I think that was a first. I don't think she's ever done that, but I mean, I could be wrong. Um, Flap on Flappy. She was basically Flip had asked, "Are you like a bird?" Was crazy. I mean, it was crazy until he quoted the song. I didn't really know what he was talking about until he actually mentioned, "Are you like a bird?" It was a song that he had mentioned, but he had asked Mel, "Are you like a bird?" But then he quoted the song. I was like, "Oh wow, that was wild." Um, as Amani tells the story, um, this guy throws the night court music on. Yeah, there we go. He was telling the night court story. The night court story. He was telling the story about um Mel being in the swimming pool, or I guess he was about to ask some questions, and then Joe threw the night court music on. Man, that it was spot on. It was spot on. I mean, this guy, he knows how to really run a show. He knows how to produce a show, and it's pretty dope. Um, Next take is Mel. She actually had some sort of accountability. That was kind of fire. I mean, and it didn't take. I mean, Flip and Mel got out of that like that. 1, 2, 3. She had some accountability. You guys should actually check it out for yourself if you haven't seen it. Um, what else do we got going on since we're not gonna talk on my talk show? Was too funny. I mean, what else do we talk about since they don't want to talk on the talk show? Yo, Joe is different. He's different. What else do we talk about since they don't want to talk on the talk show? That was a good laugh for me, man. That was pretty funny. But anyway, going on to the next take. Flip, he tried to walk Mel right into an example for calling out someone as a hoe, but she stood on her square. She didn't walk right into it, but he tried to get her. He tried, but she was on point with that one. Next take is, yes, you can be free and a hoe, Parks, and like you guys also said, you can also be free and not be a hoe. I mean, you know, I, I guess basically you guys came down to that, but Mel asking Imani if the astrologist girls were frisky. That was pretty funny. Um, yeah, that was pretty funny. Now listen, I if you guys haven't seen the Patreon, I mean, you guys should go get it. You guys should go download the Patreon app and go watch It's funny, man. It's funny because this is I think this is actually a master class as to what we're seeing right now. I think Joe is extremely ahead of his time. Um and salute. You know what I mean? This is pretty funny. But anyway, going on to the next take. Dr. Einstein was pretty funny flip. I think he had called uh Imani Dr. Einstein. That was pretty funny. And again, he adds the comedic value to it. I had to actually see if indiscriminately was a word because the way that Mel spit it out so fast, like repeatedly, I was like indiscriminately. Yeah, I had to go actually look that up. So anyway, next take. Amani basically stated what I was saying about, yeah, you can be free and be a hoe, and then you can also be free and not be a hoe, man or woman. Um, that racks on rack song was a one hitter quitter. Um, it was pretty funny that Flip he started singing it, and I mean that song it killed that one summer, and then that was pretty much it for the racks on racks. Now, next take. So when you say I'll be honest, oh, so when you say I'll be honest, if you don't say that, then whatever you said before that means that it was a lie, pretty much. So that just made me realize that I kind of need to stop saying so I'll be honest. Like when you make that statement before you say something, then everything else you was pretty much saying is a lie if you don't say that. So that was just pretty funny. Joe quoted Monty saying that, but that just made me realize that I kind of need to stop saying that as well. Where are we at with this? Next take, not Joe pulling the corporate stay away trick with the air conditioner. That was pretty fun. I mean, Flip had his hands inside of his shirt because he was so cold. And it was like Parks was like, "Yo, Flip, you all right?" He was like, "Yo, I'm it's freezing in here." So that's the joke that they play when you try to keep people awake. So that was pretty funny. Um, next take, a part-time hoe is hilarious. Hashtag half a hoe. Too funny. I thought that was pretty clever. I thought that was pretty funny. Basically, I think what they were saying about Candace Owens is a lack of empathy is missing. Um, but I didn't see why they were talking. I didn't see what they were talking about, but I mean, whatever. Next take. Amani and Ish going to the Wiz on Broadway is hilarious. I mean, I knew it was nasty work coming soon right behind that. Pause. Like I knew that. Yeah, man. Michael Jackson. Then they mentioned something about Michael Jackson's Wiz. That was pretty funny. Um, and fam, Joe, you got to put some respect on New York, bro. I mean, New York has not historically been gay as hell. I don't know what you're talking about. And my favorite actor he used to do Broadway, Denzel Washington. So yeah, I gotta put some respect on Broadway. I gotta put some respect on New York and all that. But I mean, Parks did follow it up with a story that his familiarity with Broadway has been a whole, it's been very gay. So I mean, I can't be mad at somebody for their experience, but I got to put some respect on New York, bro. For you to say New York has always been gay, get out of here, Joe. Chill with all that. Um, Next take, yeah, man. Amani and Ish going to the Wiz on Broadway is funny. It's just funny. You could tell Flip. You could tell Flip was Flip not saying that Bert and Ernie isn't that he was hurt. they was trying to say that Bert and Ernie was gay, and Flip was like, nah, 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 chill, chill, chill. They not gay. They not. Nah. They said they, nah, nah, nah. Like you could tell he was a little hurt about that. Everybody was trying to tell him that they were, and he was like, nah, 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 chill. But that was super funny. But the stud watcher is hilarious. Amani, for some strange reason, he called Amani a stud watcher, and I was wondering what I was wondering what the title was all about. But Flip called Amani a stud watcher because of something that had happened on Flip's podcast. He was saying something about Lil Wayne in the face, Manny Fresh in the body, and I didn't know that that was an actual person. I thought that he was describing the stud or something like that, and it would that's an actual if that's an actual person, then that's great. I didn't see that particular episode of the Flip the Networks podcast, so maybe I got to go check that out so that I can figure all of that stuff out. But maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, next take. Where are we going with this? Stud in the face as a man. Hashtag you your mama son. That's hilarious. Looking like Miss Bernadette or Miss Bernadette. Yo, that was too funny. That was hilarious. Um, you your mama son is hilarious. Stud in the face. Yeah, as a stud in the face as a man is crazy, bro. I had a good laugh on that one. Now, as I watch, I'm learning how Joe drives this show. I mean, he knows how to basically guide. Um, he knows how to basically, he knows how to pretty much run a show. Like it's like a production, and it's pretty dope. I mean, shout out to the Podfather, man. You can't. I just, you got to give credit when credit is due. I mean, I think this show is phenomenal, and it's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. I mean, there's a big space. I think he's really far ahead of his time. There's a huge opportunity here. So with that being said, let's go on to the next take. Um, yeah, y'all got to get this Patreon because Ice just said something about a situation and I was surprised as I don't know what. I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily put it on this, but I would just say you guys got to go get the Patreon because what Ice had stated about this particular situation, I had the same type of expression that Flip had, but y'all got to go see it to know what I'm talking about. Now, I never know that Joe didn't rock with ASAP. Like I had no idea about that, and Amani didn't know, Flip didn't know. So I mean, it is what it is. Um, Flip, we got him. Joe is definitely right about him having M Ford magazine. Definitely got him, and he did say he did see it. So I think Joe's definitely right about that one. It's always important to refer to the tag. It's always important to refer to the description. Basically, you can't take everything so darn serious. You know what I mean? Some things it's entertainment at the end of the day. It's only entertainment. Um, next take 36. Screaming and arguing about things when you're watching a show just goes to show why this guy is a podfather. I mean, you go on certain particular areas, and you got people going back and forth, this, that, and the third. And I mean, it just goes to show that, he has a lot of people invested in this show. And I mean, it's like I said, I think we are ahead of our time. I think they are ahead of their time. I mean, this is big. You know what I mean? When you look back in history, I mean, you can more than likely, like I said, this is a pretty good situation. This whole podcast thing, I didn't really realize how big this space has been, but the space is pretty huge, man. And I think you're writing history as you go when when you get into the space. So it's pretty cool. Um, where are we at? Kind of got off track right there. Where are we at? Next take is him asking how the pod will survive if he doesn't grow up is a deep question. And I mean, I was listening very closely to see if anyone was going to answer that question. I mean, he asked it again in conversation. What does like what does it have to do with the success of the pod or something like that? Like basically, he was that was a deep question in my opinion. He asked, how will the pod survive if he doesn't grow up? And I mean, the conversation, nobody really answered the question. They kind of shied away from it. They were talking about his beef list, pause, the people that he's beefing with. And, basically he said, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to grow up. And then they had to bleep something out, which, he's not going to grow up anytime soon. But again, the convo pivoted to who he was beefing with. And I was wondering, as I know Joe is probably wondering as well, if he does grow up, right? How does the pod survive? I mean, like, what will any of the pod members do moving forward to keep the pod moving in the right direction? I mean, it's a very interesting question. Um, it was deep. It was deeper than what it came off to be, which I think Joe has a knack at of doing that. Something that will be a lot deeper than most people will even read into, and it'll just go over your head. So it was pretty interesting if you ask me. Now, um, take 42 is why Flip keep on bothering Mel. I mean, the Mel and Q-Tip situation was pretty funny. You just got to go see it. Um, bro, when Flip sang "Groove Tonight," he had me on the floor. He had no idea what the words were in the second part of "Groove Tonight," and it had me damn near crying, yo. The way I was on the floor when he did. He said "Groove Tonight," and then the second part of that, he botched it so crazy. It was hilarious. Um. Excuse me. Him telling Mel to stop talking to Matt from the workplace, um, for the workplace pool, too funny because he slipped it in there. That was pretty funny. Um, that song that he made up earlier. What else do we talk about if we're not gonna talk on my talk show? Yeah, that was the perfect spot right there in the episode. There was a moment where somebody wasn't talking and they left, and you know what I mean. I can see why he made that song up. So what else do we talk about if we're not going to talk on my talk show? Hilarious. Now, next take is we just had another first. All of the guys had to get up and walk around the table after Mel explained that she was already at the pool. She was already at a pool, and then she ended up at the work pool place. So she was already at the Equinox pool, and then ended up at the Pod Place's pool with the neighbor Matt. Now Flip, hell of an instigator. They got Mel on something else, and Joe asked something, and Flip ran off the camera, and Joe got up and started giving people fives. It was a very entertaining moment. I'm starting to think that Mel is a gangster out here in these streets. I mean, I'm absolutely convinced that the way that they act, she be moving and shaking their up in these streets, man. Like the way that the narratives are switching is what makes this show cool. And Flip, he called Mel A1 sauce. Leaving the Equinox pool to go to the workplace pool is why they all took the walk around the table. So that was another first. So I think the two walk arounds, I think that was a two first walk arounds. One with Mel, and then all five of them minus Ish. Um, well, all of them that was there, they all walked around the table when Mel explained that. That was hilarious to me. Where are we at with it? Take 51. Joe was so mad at Mel, um, that Mel was at the pool. When he got there, Flip asked, like, what did Joe do? She said that he walked right past her, which was pretty funny to me. I mean, that was kind of dope. Like, he didn't even acknowledge her. Like, that was pretty funny. Um, Next take, Ish, Rick Ross in them, and like Drink Champ leaving them. It's hilarious. So basically, Ish, he had told them that he had to go use the bathroom, and as he was going to go use the well, he just left after that. Like they didn't see him anymore. He just left after using the bathroom. So yeah, I don't know if y'all remember when Rick Ross and on the Drink Champs interview, Rick Ross was on some. He said, "Yeah, let me go use the bathroom," and never came back to the interview. So Ish definitely Rick Ross them on Drink Champs. Um, and that's funny that Ish didn't pay. He hasn't paid yet, and he gained weight. They're saying, and that's why he dipped out. Um, that's pretty funny. Ish is a character for all of this right now. I saying that y'all don't know off Mike Mel is, I mean, that's another clue as to why I'm thinking that she's a straight G out here in these streets. She be shaking Ish up, and whatever they portray on the pod is, I mean, is just really another story. Um, Good begging is kind of crazy, Imani, as well. There was something that they were talking about. You guys got to go see it to know what I'm talking about. And they were very adamant on meeting Flip's wife. I'm not sure as to why, but the crew they were very adamant on meeting Flip's wife. I have no idea why, but that was pretty funny. Um, Take 57. It's funny when Joe was mad when they brought the kids to the pod. They said that Joe was upset. Um, and then for him to say that, do you guys work well enough to bring your kid? You guys don't work well enough to bring your kids to work. That was a hard out. I was like, oh, I had to look away from my phone real quick. I said, wow, man, this guy be shooting. But yeah, him just being mad that the fellas brought some of the kids to the pod, that was funny. Um, Hilarious. Joe questioning Flip getting an invite to the housewarming, hilarious. Now Flip don't want to go no matter what. This mystery character Matt, the neighbor, it's working for the pod, man. It's working for the show. Um, Flip asked if Mel was bringing a +1 to the housewarming that Joe was talking about, and then they said, "Oh, she's gonna bring Matt, which is the neighbor from the pod place, which is who she was with at the pool when nobody was at work." Um, Mel asking Flip if he's been to the Equinox Hotel is crazy work, man. It's kind of wild. I mean, it's wild. Now, I think it's a great concept to add clips from online videos. It adds time to the pod, and it also, I mean it it gives you something to talk about. It also gives you laughs. It's just a smart idea. Um, and another reason why this guy's a podfather. Again, I hope Joe doesn't mind my takes. I always encourage people to go watch and go get the Patreon so that they can see it for themselves. If you did watch and you're just here for the takes, much love and much appreciation to you, and more abundance to us all. Now, it sounds like Mr. Beast is a wild boy. I'm gonna just leave that where it's at. Martial law would be a wild situation. That I'm gonna just leave that at that. Shout out to them for kind of touching politics. Voting because of the Beyonce and Taylor Swift concert was kind of hilarious, Imani. Um, and what was this next take? Oh, there we go. So basically, I was saying that no lie, like I was saying that Amani's words sometimes, they should be fact checked. But then I was like, let me just refer to the tag. I mean, ain't nobody trying to be fact checking everything. But then Joe pointed out that sometimes Amani, like you just he has to hear it from a particular source. He can't just be hearing it from Amani. So it was pretty funny that Joe pointed it out what I was thinking earlier. Um Ish reading that knowing how to walk in a room and then just walking out on them is hilarious because they stated that pretty much in the beginning um of the book it kind of tells Ish to just walk out of the room. So that was pretty funny. Um Next take, Ice denies receiving payola payments, saying he doesn't charge for a thing. We're just going to leave that there. Not going to discuss that any further. But he denies receiving payola payments, y'all. Not Joe asking Mel if she's still doing cameos. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now, uh, Danny from the stop is diabolical for getting Mel to do that. That's hilarious to me. I mean, they don't really mention him anymore, and that whole thing kind of needs to be dissected one day. I mean, that's just a whole nother episode. Um, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, you're literally writing history as you go, and it's a great time to be alive. All white parties, all white boat parties, in NYC, phenomenal, dope. The view that these guys have and the sunset that's in the background right now, the scenery and the ambiance is extremely nice. The way that they set up the JBP show, like the aspect of it is phenomenal, and it's a good look. You know what I mean? When you're looking at the show, you like to look at the show because it's a beautiful Manhattan skyline in the back. You talk all that crap about New York that you want, Joe, but I mean, you got it. New York skyline kind of really helps the show phenomenally. So I'm gonna just put that out there. Um, where are we at with this? Take 76. Flips ish take at the end was pretty funny. He called them out for basically, called them corny and all of that for basically walking out of the room on them. That was pretty funny. Take 77. Going to that bedbug movie theater on 40 Deuce is nasty work. I would not recommend it. Go to a cleaner one. There's a lot of other cleaner movie theaters to go to. Um, Take 78 is humanizing the whole is hilarious, Amani. Um, Take 79 is we need confirmation on payment, Joe. You gotta let us know once Amani once Ish pays you. And why y'all double Money's closeout, man? That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. So that's basically it, and that's all for the Stud Finder take on the Patreon JBP episode. Before we get out of here, I do want to give a special shout out to my sponsor, Manhattan Gray. Basically, if you have gray hair and you want to add some shine to it, you want to add some oil to it, you want to keep it moisturized, you go ahead and go to manhattangray.com. The link should be in the description. You'll get about 20% off. And the bottom line is, you know, you'll be able to embrace your hair in a different way. You'll it's very it's affordable, and it's a black owned business. You'll be supporting a black owned business, and you'll also have a phenomenal product. So go ahead and go over to Manhattan Gray. Let them know that your boy Church Take sent you. And that's it for right now. I will catch you guys on the next one, and we are out. Peace.